Happy Wednesday, winners. It is our favorite day of the week, and you are now tuned in to the 113th episode of the Ladies in Motion podcast, Talk It Out, where we shine light on women that's winning in the local community. I'm your host, Madam Walker, and I'm super excited to shine light yet again on another lady that's winning in the Atlanta community, y'all. I'm just super excited to just get connected with these women. The Ladies in Motion word of the week this week is actually network. So I'm super excited to just talk about networking and, how it really can benefit your business and change your net worth. So I'm super, super excited. Before I introduce today's winning lady, I need everybody tuned in to share this episode with other women that's winning, women that's winning that because I know they'll be inspired by this episode to just boss it up, step it up within their business, get out there and network and market themselves, and just be serious about them full time. So I'm super excited to get into today's episode. Share if you care, and if you want a free prize, you really want to share this video, okay? I want to give a super quick shout out to my girl Alicia Miller. A few weeks ago, I was in Florida, and she was a speaker at a vision board party, and she just dropped gems. And she is also the woman that gave us our word of the week this week, which is network. And she has been somebody who just really inspired me about being serious about the rooms that you're in this season. Your network determines your net worth, and just mentoring and investing in yourself. So I just really wanted to give my girl a shout out before we get into it. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, cool. So I'm super excited. I'm going to introduce today's winning lady, y'all. She is winning, and she is born in the New Jersey area. She's born in New Jersey. Where in New Jersey?
Girl, I forgot because I was 8.
Okay. When you moved back here, so when you moved to Atlanta?
When I moved to Atlanta, I'm based in the metro Atlanta area, Alpharetta specifically, and I've been there for like 12, 13 years now.
Okay, so she started up top. Okay, so she's pretty much a hybrid. She's been up top. Her whole family's from Philly. She just let me know that. And she's here in Atlanta for about 12, 13 years now. I learned today that she was homeschooled.
Yes.
She did a little cosmetology school, which I'm not surprised. She looks fabulous today. She told me she did her hair. And what we're going to be talking about today, she's a lash artist, and she is the founder of the ATL Lash Convention, Lash Social. So I'm super excited to just talk about that. When I spoke to you the other day, you were just passionate about bringing women together under this space, whether you're in this beauty industry or not. You were just like, this would be a great event for anybody to come to. So I'm super excited to talk about it, get the inside scoop. Everybody, welcome Yanni McLean to the show. Make some noise, a little clap, okay? Welcome to the show. I'm super excited again to just have you. You have great energy. You're just young, bursts of energy, a lot of fun. So I'm super excited to have you and shine light on you and what you're doing. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out before we get going? Any business partners, sponsors, family, friends, anybody?
Yeah, I'd love to shout out all of my family and all of my friends who have supported me throughout my entire life, throughout my business, and throughout the process of Lash Social and bringing that to life. When you're doing business, like honestly, your support and your network and the people who are close to you, honestly, are really what fuel you and what keep you going when you're down, when you're ready to get back up. Like, they're always going to be there for you.
Right.
And so y'all know who you are, and I just want to shout you out because, like, genuinely, you mean so much to me, and like, I wouldn't be here without you.
Thank you. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to our villages. I wouldn't be who I am, where I am without my village. Shout out to my cousin, the founder of Save Healing and a model. Y'all, he has been producing. I keep telling him, cuz we added producer to your resume, because he has been producing the episode for the last few weeks, shooting my content. We like, cuz we gonna add all that to the resume, because we getting, we're wearing many hats, so when people stepping in to just make things easier for us, it really is a blessing. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited to get into today's episode. Okay.
Yes, me too.
I really am. I usually like to start these interviews with just, allowing myself and the audience to get to know my guests, just asking them a little bit about themselves. Okay. We already talked about you and your family kind of being up north, but you've been here for some time, but you were homeschooled.
Yes.
And I like to ask people, like, you know, when you're graduating high school, that's when you're stepping into the real world and you really think you got it all figured out. Sometimes I don't know if you did, but I thought I did. At 18, 19, I just thought I had it all figured out, you know? So I just want to ask you, like, at that age, when you were getting ready to graduate and step into this real world, what was it that you even saw yourself doing? Was it entrepreneurship? You know, what lane did you even see yourself in when you were in those early adulthood stages?
Yeah. Honestly, like, I genuinely thought I had it all figured out, and what's crazy is that, like, I thought I was going to be a makeup artist, and so that's really what kind of into the cosmetology world was makeup. And so I was in school, and I had the opportunity to do dual enrollment, and I saw that the college was offering, like, these cosmetology courses, and at the time, I'll be honest, like, I didn't know what cosmetology even was, really.
Right, as a whole.
I really didn't. And I was like, okay, I'll just take this class. And by the time I kind of went through with it, I realized that there was, like, all these other classes that I had to take, which ended up being the course program, the whole cosmetology program. Right. So by the time I'm there, I have my kit, I have these mannequins. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm in cosmetology school now. And, you know, at the time, like, I really thought that I was going to do makeup because through cosmetology school, I was like, yeah, hair is not for me. Okay. I like doing my own hair. That's it.
And so, real quick, I just want to ask you. So you went into cosmetology school, and you said you didn't even really understand completely, like, what all of that was. So, did you have hair in mind, but when you got in school, you realized, oh no, I'm gonna just stick to makeup, or you went in thinking, I don't even want to learn about hair, but I have to because now I'm in this program. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, so I had saw a nail class and I believe like a makeup class, and I was like, I want to get to those, but I have to get through all these other classes first.
Okay, so you got to go through it.
Yeah, that was my thought process where I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just going to do this, and that's how I ended up in cosmetology. And like I always say, like what was meant to be, like will always happen because like I didn't know I needed to go in that direction, but like I literally just ended up there, and the reason I ended up there was because I just followed the opportunities that were open, doors that opened, and I was like, okay, I'm here. And so by the time I graduated school, like I was very certain I was going to do makeup, and I did for some time. And so I ended up going to another makeup academy, and I got certified further in doing makeup artistry, and I really refined my skills there. And like I was very certain like I was going to do makeup. And then an opportunity came where I wanted to get like a side job to like do while you're doing makeup, because sometimes with makeup you kind of break into the scene. Right. And so I got the opportunity to do lashes at a franchise salon. Okay. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just do lashes on the side and, you know, just see where it goes. And this franchise salon, it was Lash. And I started working there, and quickly I realized it was full time. And like, I went from like doing like makeup and thinking lashes were going to be my side to being like very fast into the world of lashes. Wow. And that's how I ended up there, where I didn't think anything of it. And because I was thinking like, oh, I'm not going to do lashes, like I only want to do makeup. And by the time I got there, like I was like, whoa, like this was meant for me. And
yes.
Yeah.
You're the poster child of like turning your side hustle into like, you know, your main hustle.
Yes.
So I love that story because it just goes in like sometimes I feel like that's a great example of how we have certain expectations sometimes, like going into something and and you're willing to go through something to get to where you're trying to go. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, like you didn't want to do hair, but it's like, oh, this is cosmetology in a whole, so I have to do hair just to get to do the nails and the makeup.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did that discourage you at all in any way? Obviously not, because you went on to kind of just do it. But at first, did you ever want to kind of not do it or give up because you don't, you know, because sometimes we don't want to feel like our time is wasted. It's like, gosh, why am I even doing this when I know I don't want to do this? You know what I mean?
Like, honestly, like, I am so grateful for the experience that I had at cosmetology school, because the biggest thing that I learned was, like, perseverance and, like, I want to say, like, was it, I'm losing the word, but the one word, discipline. Yes, discipline. And that's really where I learned it. And I feel like whenever I have to go back to persevere, push through when things are hard, do things I don't want to do,
Mhm.
get up really early in the morning. Like whenever these things happen, I always kind of remember back to my experience in cosmetology school
Mhm.
and where I didn't feel like getting up and cutting the same haircut into a mannequin
Right.
30 times, you know? Like I
Oh,
didn't
that's
feel
so
like
funny.
doing that. Yeah.
Right.
But I did it every single day. I showed up every single day and like, you know, I was in cosmetology school in the middle of the pandemic. Like,
Wow.
it's so
what a time. What
Yes.
a time to be alive.
yes, so it was a very unique experience where there wasn't any clients to work on either. So it was
Wow.
all mannequins, even when you kind of got to that higher level. And so you were doing kind of the same thing every single day.
Mhm.
And I really learned to push through, even though maybe I didn't feel like doing something, maybe I didn't feel like showing up, but I showed up every single day. I made sure my work got submitted on time. I got
That's
all them
what's up,
haircuts
girl.
done.
That's what's on the mannequins
And-
over and over
exactly.
still.
And I really feel like because I had that experience, it really helped me in my business later on
Yes.
because I persevered and I understood when I was able to reach these accomplishments, like even getting the job that I had at that franchise, like I had to be a licensed cosmetologist. And if I had given up on school, I would have never been able to break into the world of lashes because I never would have started the job.
Amen.
So it's so important to kind of push through.
I
when
love
it's time to
that.
push through.
Amen, girl.
Yes.
Can you say that one more time? It's so important to push through.
It's so important to push through when it's time to push through.
Girl, that is great advice. I really love that you said that. So, and such a full circle moment that probably is for you. I love that you persevered and pushed through, because it got you to where you are today. And you got the title behind it. I've done the work.
Exactly.
And like you said, and so even before you said it, I was noticing, I'm like, man, a lot of her early stages probably cultivated her just to where she is today, that experience in school.
Yes.
And you always, so in a way, I asked you at the beginning, like, did you always see yourself in this field? So even though you said you've seen yourself as a makeup artist, you kind of are in the same industry, and you are an entrepreneur, though. You work for yourself, you make your own schedule. So in a way, that kind of was always the plan for you, just now you're in a different lane. Okay.
Exactly, yes.
So I love that. Yeah. So you went on the cosmetic school, you end up in this lash world, and you find out that you love lashing, obviously, because you're still doing it and you love it so much that you want to bring other lash artists together, to just keep this whole thing going. So I'd like to just talk about that. Your lashing, was it hard to get into? Like, you do, and by lashing, I have respect for lash artists. I know a few people. Shout out to my cousin, Kata Winks. She is a lash artist in Florida, where I'm from, and I'm amazed at the time that it takes on the individual, like lashing, even strip. Child, I struggle to put a strip on. That's it for me, But just I have respect for the lash artist to do that, because I realized, like, after her explaining her experience going to school and figuring out how to do it, I was on it's on the individual,
each little lash.
Yeah, you have to be very precise, and you just have to love just what you do, because that's a very tedious thing to do. So just tell me your experience, like when you first got in, your growth yourself, when you first get started. Did you see your growth? Did you ever feel like, oh my God, this is harder than I thought? I don't want to put time in to get to this level. Just tell me all about that for anyone who's watching, thinking about getting into it, and they may have certain expectations. Tell them about your experience.
So I always say that, like, being a lash artist, if you do it longer than 6 months, that means you love it. Because, like, the learning curve for lashing is so insanely huge. Like, there is a lot of trial and error. There is a lot of failed sets. Like, even if you understand the concept of lashing, you physically have to put in the time, the hours, the clients, the frustration of failed set after failed set. And then to get to that point where one day your sets are looking exactly the way that you see them in your mind, and they're coming out exactly the way your clients are expecting. But it's almost like you have to, like, pay your dues in a way. Like, and it's
in anything, you know.
It takes usually about, like, for me, I didn't see a real improvement in my work until maybe around 6 months. And I'd say for most lash artists that's the case. And everyone picks it up a little bit differently as well. Like, some are going to catch on really fast. Some it's going to take you a couple days to maybe even, like, get a lash on confidently. And the learning curve is very huge. And so you just have to love it. And for me, I loved it, and I also love a challenge. And so for me, if I see something, I'm like, I'm gonna perfect that.
I
Like,
love that. I love that about
and
you.
so like when I got in, like when I worked at the franchise salon, how they did the training, was essentially you get 2 weeks. The first week is on like a mannequin, like you're just plastic head, plastic lashes, you're just putting it on, right? Just practicing. And then after that, I was like, I want to do it on a real person. And so before I started on live models, my coworker, my friend, my first lash mentor, her name's Kai. Like, you're watching this. Hi.
Shout out to Kai.
Yes, so she was the first person who ever let me lash her. The set was abysmal, but but so I was so ready to put lashes on a real person,
Right.
and so I asked her in between clients. I was like, hey, like I know I'm training, but like, can you trust me with your lashes?
Right.
And can I just practice a set on you? And she let me practice a set on her like the week or day before I started taking live models.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's kind of the first person I ever lashed. She helped me so much too. Like having mentors in the lash industry is so important.
That's amazing.
Because you need people to be able to support you, to ask questions, because like at the beginning there's like a million questions. And so having someone right next to me, like she worked at the bed next to me, and just having someone I could just ask all those questions at the beginning was amazing.
So I have a question. I'm sorry to,
go ahead.
What are some questions that you have, like when you first get into it? What are those millions of questions that you have? Because I can only imagine. And again, because my cousin and another few ladies that I know are lash artists, just the stuff that they're ordering, it's like, okay, a lot goes into it that a normal person like me would not know, so I would love to know, and for anyone who is watching who is just interested in getting into this, what are some of the questions that they may have when they first get in this, that you had when you first got in, that you wish you maybe knew?
I got you. I'd say day one of being a lash artist is learning to speak the lash language.
Okay.
Because so there's different lengths and there's different curls of lashes.
Okay.
There's different densities and there's also different application techniques. And there's also different types of tweezers. And so there's a lot to know.
Down to the tweezers.
Yes. There's different glues, different types of glues that you can use. And then, of course, everything that you need to know sanitation-wise. Obviously, if you're like a licensed cosmetologist or esthetician, the sanitation stuff is going to come pretty natural because you're going to learn it in school. But any lash course, you're going to learn sanitation as well. And so there's like a variety of lingo that comes with all of that. And so I'd say if there was one thing you need to learn first, is learn how to speak the lash language.
That's great advice.
Yes.
Because I would have never thought that. So that's great advice.
Right. Because if you ask someone about like a set, they're going to be like, oh, that's like C curl 8 to 12 millimeter, wispy spikes, bone. And you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, right? And so if you're completely new to this, you need to be able to understand what they're talking about. And so just studying that is a great and also free way to get into the lash industry, because all you have to do, you can learn this information for free, you can learn the lash lingo for free, and then you can start investing in courses and things like that, and you're going to be able to understand so much faster, because that was one of the first things I learned was the differences of the lengths and curls and all those names. And it can be overwhelming at first because there is so many. Yeah. But like over time, it becomes second nature.
Like, so just over time, it just comes.
Yes.
Kind of like riding a bicycle, right?
Exactly.
And I also wanted to ask you, just for anybody who's watching, who are in this or thinking about getting into it, what was that transition like, though, from doing the lashes on the mannequin to like a real person? Is it just like a total like, this is nothing like doing it on a mannequin? Or is it similar and then you just suddenly find your flow? What is that like?
Yeah, so for me personally, going from mannequin to person, I loved it.
Okay.
But I know some people, they really hate it. Because it is easier to apply the lashes, because quick lash science lesson, lash glue, it cures with the presence of humidity or water, and natural lashes, they have water in them. And so when you're trying to lash a plastic mannequin, there's no water, so it's actually harder to attach to lash.
Okay.
On a real person, there's like a bit of water on the natural lash.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that glue in the lash extension touches the natural, it actually stays on a lot easier.
Okay.
But when there's a real human head, the lashes aren't uniform. They're doing their own thing.
Right.
A human head's a lot bigger than a mannequin head.
Okay.
And so sometimes the positioning that you get comfortable doing as a like on the mannequin, or maybe some bad habits you formed on the mannequin, like I don't know, if maybe you rested your elbow on the mannequin. I don't know how you would do that, but maybe if you just were in a weird position, you might have to relearn everything when you start working on real people.
Right.
But I ended up preferring it. Like now, like I hate practicing on mannequins. I much prefer having a real person because, like lashes are layered. Usually the mannequin's just one layer. And again, layers can vary on human lashes as well. So, but yeah, there's a lot to it. But
I love this. I love this so much because I get just hear from speaking to you. So on the way here, your content, and not only is she a lash artist, y'all. She's a content coach.
yes.
And let me tell you, she knows what she's doing. Okay. You know what you're doing, and just from your page alone, just even before meeting you today, I was like, oh my gosh, I am so excited to meet her. Because I feel like people should be able to come across your profile and maybe get a sense of who you are.
Right.
And I feel like I got a sense of who you were just from your page. I knew that you would be bubbly like this. I knew that you were passionate, though, about lashing just from seeing your posts and you sending me the voice note the other day about the Lash Social, which I just can't wait for us to talk about. I can just tell that you're passionate. And, I'm hearing you and you know your stuff. I just love this. I really, really do, because you got to know your stuff, but I can see you are your brand. So, I could see that if I've never had lashes done, but it's like, you know what? I might have found a lash tech. I trust, it's like, dang, I trust that you would be in good hands. Because I'm always iffy about the losing of the lashes. People always say that. Yeah. So is that inevitable? Like you are going to lose your lashes?
So
regardless?
The thing with lash extensions is if your natural lashes come out attached to an extension and it's just one natural lash, that is a good thing. You want that to happen. And the reason that you want your lashes to fall out when you have extensions on is because natural lashes, you actually lose 2 to 3 every single day. Anyway. And you just don't notice because there's not an extension attached to it.
Right.
And so because the extensions are attached to each individual natural lash, it allows your lashes to grow through the natural growing and shedding process while the extension is applied. So that way there's no damage being done to your lashes. Now, there can be damage done to your lashes with extensions if you see an artist who might not apply it properly. But if you see someone who applies it properly, they're applying it to individual lashes without sticking multiple natural lashes together, you can keep getting your lashes done indefinitely without any damage. And I also like to say that your lashes can actually grow fuller. And I've seen this happen with my clients before too, with extensions. And that is because if you're an avid strip lash wearer, if you're an avid mascara wearer, mascara is very drying for your natural lashes. And so it can cause them to break off or not be as long as they can be, because if you put on mascara every day, when you wipe it off, you're probably like, you're really gone.
Yeah,
right?
You're right though.
So like your lashes are going to be dry and brittle from that mascara, and then you break them off removing the mascara. Or if you wear strips, most people just snatch it off, and
I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
Yeah. And by doing that, you can pull out your lashes prematurely. And pulling out your lashes prematurely on a regular basis can lead to traction alopecia, and that's basically where the lash does not regrow. So basically, wearing extensions that are properly done can allow your lashes to be fuller, because not only are you not touching them, they're able to grow and be as full as possible. And I've done this with several clients, and they've had fuller lash lines after seeing me. So, yeah.
I love the confidence and I love the knowledge that you have about your industry. That is impressive to me. I really, really do. So, like, girl, You know, I see what you're doing. Okay, I see what you're doing. I might get my first set after this. You know, I trust it because again, I can see the passion even just going through your page, your content. Then I'm meeting you today. I can hear the passion. You have the education and the knowledge behind it, and you know, I can just I love passionate people. And you know, you want to work with passionate people, people who care about their craft. You know. So I absolutely love that so much. So you've been doing this so from cosmetology school to really just like lashing. How many years has it been? About two?
Yeah, so it's been 3, almost 4 years.
Okay, so almost 4 years that you've been lashing.
Yes. So I've been I've been a cosmetologist or cosmetology industry for almost 4 years.
Okay.
And then 3 years lashing.
Okay.
And then 2 years independent lashing.
And what do you think it is about lashing though that just does it for you? What is it?
Honestly, it's something about like when that client looks in the mirror and they go, "Oh my gosh!" Like, and they don't realize that like their lashes can look like that. Like, I've had clients where I've given them very natural sets, and with natural sets, a lot of it is based off of how many like natural lashes you have. So they get in my chair and like, I don't have any lashes, and I look at them and I'm like, "Girl, what you talking about?" And then I put a set on them. It's very natural, and they go, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know I had this many lashes." Like, and like looking at people get this newfound confidence, looking at women get this newfound confidence just from their lashes and that experience. Like, that's just so special to me. And also the artistry too. I just love like crafting and creating because while I love doing natural sets that just enhance what my clients' natural features are, I also love a challenge and being able to create these very intricate sculpted sets for social media, and so that's been really fun as well.
We're going to talk about social media in a minute because you're a contact coach, but because the word of the week is network, I just want to know, aside from the Lash Social, which I know you created for a network, networking event for lash artists. I know you created just to have that community, but before your Lash Social was here, what was the networking like in that community for you as a lash artist? Was that something that you weren't seeing a lot of, and that's kind of why you started yours? Let's just talk about networking and why it was so important that we had to create Lash Social because the networking is important.
Yes. So when I started lashing, I was very fortunate to work in a franchise salon because even though there's a certain level of, we'll say, chaos that comes with working at a franchise, there is, and I was very fortunate, my store to have this beautiful sense of community. And I had my girls that like, even though, through crazy clients or insane busy days or even just really fun sets that we're super proud of, like we could go to that back room, we could get together and we could be like, look at this set, or this happened, or even like we would have this thing on Sundays, we would like DoorDash Sundays, and we would just DoorDash to the salon and we'd like eat pizza or wherever together. And I loved doing that with like my community, and that's kind of how I started lashing. I always had my girls with me, and so when I went solo, I realized that like I'm kind of out here on my own. Like, I kind of like this, and so I missed that community aspect. And so I started looking for events for lash artists, and I found that there wasn't really many going on in Atlanta. And so they were all kind of on the West Coast or up north. And I was like, I got to do something for the Atlanta girls.
And that's insane because it's so many lash artists, you know. Really so it's insane that there wouldn't be, more lash events, or more events, curated towards artists. So,
yeah. And so that's kind of how Lash Social was born. And so what I started doing was I was in the car with my mom and I told her, I was like, I think I can get 30 people in a room. Like, I don't know. I think I can maybe get 30 people.
So that was the goal. 30 people.
That was the goal. Like at least 30 people. And I planned the first Lash Social event in 3 weeks. And I know it's crazy. And there was so much excitement, so much like joy, and people wanting to be a part of it. There was like requests for vendors, and
that's amazing.
Bringing in educators, and it went from this networking event to a convention in literally less than 3 weeks. And we had over 100 attendees in the building, and there was so much excitement for it.
I love that. Make some noise for my girl. Y'all make some noise.
Yes. And that's when I realized, I'm like, the girls need this. Like,
that's what's up.
We need this. And you know, when it happened, being in that room with all those girls and seeing them make these connections and seeing them like a lot of artists are usually like solo from the start. So seeing them have this community for the first time even was amazing. And the conversations that were had in that room were so powerful. Like I met some of my best Lash friends at that event, my own event, and I know there were so many connections made as well through that event. And the most impactful thing was that this Lash Social, it empowered other Lash artists to start making their own events. And they said, Yanni, you gave me the confidence that I can do it too. And throughout 2024, so many more events popped up.
That's good.
And I was like, this is insane. Like, this would not have been here if I didn't think, oh, maybe I could get 30 people. And if I was too scared to go out and do it, like this, I was scared. Like, I wasn't sure. Like, you know, I had never seen it really be done in Atlanta before.
Right.
I wasn't sure if people were going to come. Like, at the time, I had like less than 500 followers on social media.
Wow.
Like, and so I had no idea where I was getting these people from, how I was doing this. But I said, this needs to happen. And I brought it to life.
I love that, girl. Congratulations on doing that, you know, and just being a young lady to have the confidence to, number one, you know, you stepped out independently and just being sure of yourself, like, you know what, there's a lot, and noticing there's a lack of this in this industry. Let me do something. You didn't think like, okay, no one's ever done it. Maybe I'm too young, or maybe I haven't done this long enough to even be doing something like this.
Right.
You know, like you were confident in yourself and what you had to make something happen. And the Lord exceeded your expectations. You said 30 people and you had more than 100.
Yes.
Wow.
It was so amazing.
So I'm super excited for you. So you have the Lash social coming up again this year. This year, number what?
The Take Two.
So this is Take Two.
Yes, March 23rd.
Coming up Sunday. It'll be Sunday, March 23rd, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Tell us where it's going down and what we can expect at this one. How was it? You took 3 weeks to plan the last one. How long? A year? Because you start planning low key right after the first one. So just tell me all about this upcoming one right now. I'm super excited for you. Congratulations, girl.
Thank you. So with Lash Social, the first one being a huge success, we were like, okay, we need to go bigger, we need to go bolder. And I really found our mission through Lash Social 1 as well. And so I started realizing that there was a need for positive representation in the Lash community for underrepresented artists and specifically Black and brown artists. And I realized that like a lot of us were afraid to show up at bigger conventions or even just at all because we felt like it wasn't for us. And so what I realized at Lash Social was we had such a beautiful room of diverse women from all backgrounds, and we were all able to connect on the same level. And that's what I really want us to inspire is more artists to come out and be at these events. And so like that's really where we found our mission and our voice and our purpose through the second event and just being in the room of that first one. And so planning it, I toured the venue for Lash Social, the second one, because I knew we were gonna have to go bigger. Because girl, that room was full.
Right, that's amazing. I'm so excited for you.
Yes, and so number 2, we planned a bigger venue, and I toured it like the week after.
Okay.
And
wow,
I love this venue so much. I connected so much with the venue owner, and like I just knew it was Lash Social's home. Like it was like the first venue we toured afterwards, and I was like, "This is it.
This is the one.
This is it." And like we tried to explore other venues, the door shut. Like every single time, like we just work and get called back, and I'm like, "Do you just not want to book your venue?" Like it when I tell you, like every time I tried to look somewhere else, the door kept closing, and I was like, "Okay, this venue is meant for us." And so we ended up signing that venue, and it's so beautiful. We have a dedicated vendor hall this year. We have a multiple speakers, a panel, and we also have a dedicated workshop room as well, and an outside networking space too. And so there's so much space for the girls to make these connections, learn, and also shop because who doesn't love shopping?
Right, we all love shopping.
Exactly. And so like bringing this to life has honestly been an insane experience because it's like I'm realizing the magnitude of like how many people are coming. It's kind of wild. And then also like realizing the magnitude of the impact that I'm having, the DMs that I've gotten, especially since voicing our message, voicing our mission, and being like, I want these Black and brown girls to come out to these events because we deserve to be at the table too,
and we deserve to, be in these spaces with each other. And what I love for you, I think on your site you said creating a safe space. That's what it says. And like you said, it's just a safe space. Some people don't even think like, dang, maybe I can't even go to an event like that, but here you are saying, yes, you can.
Exactly.
Like, this is the place for new artists, seasoned artists, whatever you look like, whatever your background is. Like, there is space in a safe space here for you, and that's important. People need to know that. People need to know that networking, it's about collabing, no competition, just being here. We can learn and grow from each other, and all of us can eat.
Yes.
All of us can make our money, and all of us can be successful and still grow our brands and our businesses. Yes. So, just you, I'm just in awe because you're just so cute and you're a young lady. I just can't wait to see what else you do, it just in life, because your mindset already has been so great. And like you said, you got that, I'm going to get that done spirit in you. So I love that about you. Yes. So what are you, the person who put this together, and you know what's going to happen at the Lash Social, without sharing too much because y'all got to get your ticket. Yes. What is something that you really, really look forward to the most about this year?
Yeah, so the thing that I'm looking forward to most this year is that we have been so fortunate enough to capture the attention of some of the biggest lash brands out there.
Okay.
And not only will they be in our VIP ticket spike bags, they will also be on our vendor hall floor, convention floor, and so you're going to be able to shop and connect with these brands. And so I'm really excited for the artists here in Atlanta to have access to the resources that are the same that you're going to see at big conventions. And so I really want to bring that here. And the fact that we're here in our second year is amazing. And I cannot wait for these artists to get access to live demos from some of the top brands. Like, example, we have Elibana. They are a lash lift brand. And they are coming to do a live demo at Lash Social. And all ticket holders are going to get access to this demo straight from the source. And we also have a panel that is really digging deep into the realty of running a lash business. Okay, no holding back, no filter. And we have 6 different artists from very diverse backgrounds because everyone's business looks different. And so there's going to be something that is said in this real conversation that is going to relate to the attendees. And lastly, I just can't wait for the connections that are going to be made. The connections that you make at networking, even if they seem small, even if they seem minimal, like, they can change your life.
Yeah.
And I genuinely mean that like, your networking is everything.
It is.
You need 2 things, education and you need to network. And you cannot have one without the other. And so I really think that if you feel it in your heart that I might need to come to Lash Social, I think that Lash Social might be for me, or really any networking convention, educational convention. You need to be there. I have had some of the most life-changing experiences at conventions. I have made some of the most life-changing connections at conventions, all because I took a chance and I said, I'm going to show up today. I'm going to go. I might be a little bit nervous. I might be a little bit scared. There was a point in time when I first started going to networking events, I was so scared to say my name, y'all. Like,
wow.
And now I'm walking on the stage in front of 300 people. Like,
that's insane.
And so it's wild. And you have to show up scared. You have to do it scared.
Amen. And you preaching to the choir.
Yes. And so with Lash Social, like, if it's your first time or if it's your 100th time, let Lash Social be the first experience that you have, be the 700th experience that you have. But if you feel it that you need to be here, you need to be here. Do not let this opportunity pass, because networking, meeting that one person, making that one interaction can open the door to, like, the opportunities of your dreams. And I genuinely mean that. The people at the top, the people who are successful, they are collaborating, they are networking.
For sure.
And if you want opportunities, if you want to see the success in your business, you need to network. And I genuinely mean that. And make sure that you get the education too to back it up. And Lash Social is the, like, double package of that, because you're going to learn and you're going to network at the same time, and that's what you need for success.
And she mean what she say, because I literally am sold on getting my lashes done because I hear the knowledge that you possess.
Yes.
And my head is like, okay, if I'm gonna let anybody touch my lashes and maybe take them out, now I was gonna be the girl that I know got the education though and the passion though, who ain't gonna have me looking crazy. Because I see that, this is your thing, this is your calling. I have a few more questions before we wrap it up. I just want to ask you, like, when did you have your moment of, oh yeah, this is my thing, I am on to something, this is my lane, oh, I've created something, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
because you seem so confident in your craft, and I love that, so I just want to know, like, what did it take to, get you there? Like, when was that? How long in this process did you say, okay,
Yeah,
I'm Yanni, I'm that girl?
Yeah, I feel like I've always kind of been someone that definitely deals with self-doubt, where like
Really?
that little voice kind of creeps in and it's like, girl, what you doing? But honestly, there's been so many moments where I did it scared and I had the biggest success, and I feel like because I told that voice to shut up and sit in the corner and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And I said, nah, girl. I like when I went solo, left my franchise salon, that voice said, what if you can't make it? I did it anyway.
Yeah.
And, when I decided that I was going to do my convention, and that voice said, well, what if nobody comes? And then 100 people did. And this time around, I said, well, what if nobody comes back to Lash Social? What if nobody wants this? What if people don't believe in my mission? And that was a real fear.
Yeah.
And I did it scared, and we were so fortunate to capture the attention of the convention host of the biggest Lash convention in the world.
So
and
amazing.
Now they're coming as our special guests.
I'm super proud of you.
That's insane. Like to have that happen, where I was scared to say my mission, and I still said it, and I still did it. And that's where I feel like, I don't know if there's ever like a full I made it moment, but it's more, I don't care about what that voice is saying. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to be confident, and I'm going to do what I need to do. And either get on board or watch it happen.
You know what, girl? And I love it. Just confident in being that, I am where I am supposed to be. So I super, super love that so much. Y'all make sure you go get your tickets. If there's any, before they sell out. Okay, go get your tickets.
Girl, yes.
March 23rd. This is this upcoming Sunday, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. You do not want to miss it. Be serious about the rooms that you enter this season. That's something that I'm trying to do, whether it's like, and really thinking about it, whether it's something that, oh yeah, I got to be in that room, or whether I'm invited to something and say, you know what, this room and this space isn't for me. You know what I mean? So just knowing when to discern that. So everybody tuned in. March 23rd, ATL's biggest Lash convention.
Let's go.
And just, before we leave, I just want to, she's a content coach. Y'all, she had her little tripod here. It is so fancy. I'm going to order me one. She told me where I can get it. And her little camera thing. And, what I love is, before we came here, you were saying, you're going to do this? Yeah, girl, I got to get it. And then you were just very intentional about your content. And me, see, I ain't old, but I'm older than you. You know what I mean? And so the content thing, I'm trying to get used to it, which I've been doing better, and I'm proud of myself for what I have been doing, But something that you said, just like when you were saying, like, you got to just show it for yourself, like, you just got to do it. I've heard people say that when it comes to content. So I would like you to give us a little bit of advice on when it comes to creating content, and, you being a content coach, what does that mean? If we need help, what can we reach out to you for, just and lead, in this with that.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is, if you want to get your business out there, if you want to market your business and you need people to know about you, you can be the best at whatever you do. If people don't know about you, they can't book you, they can't come see you, whatever it is, right? And the easiest is kind of a stretch, but the free way, okay, and the most accessible way and most sustainable way, because it's free, to get yourself out there is with content. And I know it's hard. I know it's frustrating, and I know that sometimes they can really suck. But the biggest thing with content is that you need to go back to the basics. With your content, start with your tools. that's what I did. And so I found tools that work with me.
Okay.
For me, if it takes me 30,000 years to set up, it ain't happening. And so I started using tools like the DJI Pocket 3 to be able to film vlogs in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And so I can get the shot and I can go. And that is really important. And with my lash content, something that I'm a content coach for is if you are a lash artist and you want to create better content, send me a DM on Instagram. I got you, girl.
That's what's up.
Yes, I go back to the basics of content creation. And so we're talking, what camera are you using? How are you setting it up? And how are you going to get these high quality shots? Because if you want to show up online well, it all starts with your footage and then it goes to your editing. And so I really dig into that and how you can start with there, because having a content strategy is really important. But, you know, if the base isn't right, that strategy is just going to keep falling flat. So stop worrying about your hook, stop worrying about your caption, and start worrying about, how am I capturing this content? And start there. The rest will follow. That's what I say.
Great advice. And y'all, the proof is just in the pudding with you. That's what I'm realizing. I just met you today, but I'm realizing that with you, the proof is in the pudding. Walk it like I talk it. That's what I like. That's what I like to call it. Because even with the lashing, you know, I'm not surprised. You look like you work in the beauty industry, you know, and your passion is there. And when I go on your page, your content does speak. I'm a passionate lash artist. I am a content creator. And if you need help, you know, I am the one to get you there. And I love that it sounds like you're a girl's girl, you know, like you don't mind helping other lash artists like get their content out, you know. So I just love that. I wish you nothing but success. I can't wait to hear the feedback and see the content from your lash social. But I would like you to just tell us, where can we follow you on social media? How can we stay connected with you for future references? And then we're gonna close out like that.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at get.thereallook or at lashsocial.trl. And either page, I got you.
Thank you so much again for this. I'm super excited. Y'all be on the lookout for more things from my girl, Yanni McLean. She's young. We're praying she got a long life ahead of her to just keep pursuing purpose. It's March, and March is one of my favorite months. It's actually Ladies in Motion Women's Empowerment Month. We use this whole month to encourage women to march in their purpose. March 4th with intention. March 4th, whether you're afraid. So yesterday was March 4th. A few weeks ago, March 4th. And that's one of my favorite days of the week because it's one of the days that demands you to do something. So someone brought it to my attention one time. She said, you know, Mercedes, that's me. I heard you say one time, because I love March 1st too. You got to March 1st before you can March 4th. So if you're scared, y'all, all you got to do is take that first step like Yanni did today, and your 30 people may turn to 100 people. Your 30,000 may turn to 100,000 or whatever the case may be. So if you're tuned in, y'all, March, all month long, March in purpose. The time is now, okay? So stay tuned, share this episode, and I'll see you back here next Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.